Hello everyone, I'm Charlie Tolhurst and welcome to the latest of my YouTube videos and a brand new playlist as well, a brand new series that I'm going to be launching on my YouTube channel called Off the Grid. Yes, now this is going to be a little podcasting series on YouTube, a little motorsport series talking about the biggest news stories. So this is the week in review for the 17th of February. This is the week in review. We're going to talk about the latest news from the world of motorsport. And all of this is going to come through power of YouTube, as I said. Now, obviously, there's been plenty of news out there. I want to start off this week by talking about some news coming out of the British Touring Car Championship, where it has been announced that Tom Chilton will join Accelerate Trade Price Cars for the 2022 season. Now, Tom Chilton left Sicily Motorsport last year, or at the end of last season, after a quite strong Brands Hatch round, and has announced that he will be joining the sport, or joining the squad, should I say, down at Accelerate Trade Price Cars. A big, big move for the British Touring Car Championship. I'm so happy for Tom Chilton. One of the big names on the grid, one of the most experienced drivers, will be moving to Accelerate Trade Price Cars, partnering another Tom, Tom Ingram, also at the team as well. And there's going to be plenty of great drivers at this team. So yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see how we get on. It was also confirmed today that Stephen Jelly and Colin Turkington will be retained at WSR for the 2022 season. There is a third seat at the team, which of course is vacated by Tom Oliphant, who takes a sabbatical this season. So who will fill up that last car as well? I mean, could Andrew Jordan be back in the championship this year? We don't know. We just have to find out. So that is the latest news there from the BTCC on that point. I want to move on now to the next part of this this week's edition of Off the Grid, to something a bit different now. NASCAR heading to Daytona. This Sunday is the 500, the Daytona 500, the first official race of the 2022 season. We had the Busch Clash the other week, won by Joey Logano, beating home Carl Busch. Logano just holding on in the end around at the LA Coliseum. We've had the qualifying times in for the Daytona 500, and it has been announced that Kyle Larson, who is the reigning champion of the Cup Series, will start on pole position for this event. Yes, Kyle Larson takes pole for Hendrick Motorsports. So yes, a big day for Kyle Larson for the Daytona 500. The qualifying has been complete for the 500. So let's have a look at the qualifying lineups as well. Hendrick Motorsports ended with a 1-2-3 on the grid, with Kyle Larson, Alex Bowman, William Byron completing the top three. Aric Almirola starts fourth on the grid for Ford. A great result for Aric Almirola. I have to say, that was a great result for him for qualifying in what will be his last season in the sport. Chase Elliott fifth in the other Hendrick Motorsport Chevrolet Camaro. Martin Truex Jr. starts sixth. Ross Chastain seventh. Denny Hamlin eighth. Daniel Suarez ninth. A surprise on there, Daniel Suarez as well. And Harrison Burton, who, of course, if you may remember Harrison Burton, he is the driver who replaced Matt DiBenedetto, who left Wood Brothers 21. He starts 10th on the grid, driving the Ford Mustangs. Very interesting to see here as well. We've got some other drivers on the grid. Austin Dillon 20th as well. Michael McDowell, last year's champion, 22nd on the grid. Difficult qualifying for Michael McDowell, given that he looked very strong during practice. So it'll be very interesting to see how Michael McDowell gets on from 22nd on the grid as well. Joey Logano only 12th. Ryan Blaney 13th. Jacques Villeneuve will hopefully get a start. 36th on the grid for him. Of course, won a couple of the Euro NASCAR races last year as well. Austin Cindric, 21st on the grid, another new driver to the series this year, driving the number 2 car as well. We do have a couple of dual at Daytona races. These are non-championship events. The first round is officially on Sunday. Lights out, I think, is around 7:30 for that UK time. So Daytona 500 as well. Kyle Busch earning Busch Light pole for the Daytona 500 as well. Also, the Xfinity Series kicks off this weekend as well. With Beef, it's What for Dinner 300. A very interesting name for an Xfinity race. Beef, it's What for Dinner 300. That will take place on the 19th of February, which is on Saturday. The Camping World Truck Series also take part for the next Era Energy 250 as well. That is also on Saturday as well. So there'll be roundups from the Camping World Truck Series and also the Xfinity as well on that forefront. Formula E also has some announcements with the last round taking place in Rome, and Porsche claimed a 1-2 finish. Pascal Wehrlein winning the race for Porsche, but Andre Lotterer only a few tenths of a second back in second place. Jean-Eric Verne finishing third, and Antonio Felix da Costa fourth for DS Techeetah, showing strong pace despite falling back during the race. A fifth for Mortara, Rocket Venturi Racing. Nick de Vries finished 6th despite being 12th, but I'll get onto that in a minute. Sebastian Buemi was 8th, Maxi Gunter 9th, Jake Dennis 10th, Andretti. The reason some of these drivers have been moved is because a few drivers ended up getting, I think, disqualified. Antonio Giovinazzi actually was a DNF. Alexander Sims was a DNF. Several drivers got into trouble. Sam Bird, Mitch Evans, Jaguar all miscalculating their energy as well, which meant that the Nissans moved up. Robin Friends, I think another one, got caught up with that. Nick Cassidy miscalculated. Jaguar miscalculated their energy, got demoted. So yes, several changes to the classification at the end of the race there as a result of energy misusage. Oh, it was horrible. Trust me, you not want to see this. So I'm going to play for you now the highlights of that Formula E race in Mexico. Oh, here we go. I will now play for you that video of the race, and here it is right now for you guys. Formula E, Mexico City, E-Prix race taking part right now. Here are the highlights of that race for you in full. The latest edition of the Mexico City E-Prix.
Goes to the inside of Van Dorn, 3 wide into turn 9. Gunter almost gets done by both of them, and I think Cassidy got it done. Into the Forest Baseball Stadium, 26,000 fans watching Van Dorn get ahead of Gunter. Well, Freitz and De Vries, the two Dutchmen going together, and Freitz gets ahead of De Vries. Here comes Mortara, he goes for it. Mortara in the Venturi, takes the lead of the Mexico City E-Prix. Mortara leads, whoa, Cassidy trying to get past Nick De Vries and manages to do it into turn 9.
Verne, he's now trying to do a dummy. He's going to make Lotterer defend and then try and do the cutback, but I don't think there's anything doing just yet on that. But he's putting Lotterer under pressure, causing him to use more energy and get offline.
Goes for it at 5, Verne. Lotterer sees him coming. Gives
playing
him room.
really nice.
Lotter is still there, and Verne can't quite get a power. Needs to be careful because his teammate's going to be somewhere. He's got a great run though, coming into turn 9, and that is third place now for Jean-Eric Verne. He's in attack mode, and he uses it well to get ahead, and De Costa's through as well.
Could have been a bit more robust in
And
his
Verne's
defence.
ahead of Verline. Verne gets Verline coming down into turn 9. There to attack mode goes Verline, and I think he got a little bit of a nudge from De Costa behind him, and De Costa's got damage. Front left, the bodywork's hanging off.
He might get pulled in to get rid of it. It looks like
Lotter
he's
is coming
slowing
back,
down.
and Freitz is going through as well. And what De Costa does? Oh, there it goes. Okay, it's come off now. I was about to say he doesn't want it to get stuck under the wheel. The gold Diaz Tejita covers the inside. Freitz goes to the inside too. De Costa squeezes him. Freitz breaks on the dirty stuff, gets it done. And there's a lunge from De Grassi, and that is actually going to allow the Mercedes of Stoffel Van Dorn to get through. He's using his fan boost to defend as they come down into the stadium. They all get it stopped somehow. Evans getting involved too now as well. And here's Robin Freitz going for the move on De Costa, very close.
Yeah, very late defence from Antonio Felix da Costa.
Down towards turn 1. Mortara leads, Verne second. This is it. Verline into second place. De Vries is using his attack mode for Mercedes EQ further back as he fights with Lucas de Grassi. A nod from Florian Modlinger, and following through is the other Porsche. Lotterer gets past Verne as well.
Here comes Robin Freins.
Freitz going through as well. He's got less energy than Jean-Eric Verne, but he's ahead on track now. Verline is going to be on the attack for the lead in Mexico City.
And the fans getting on their feet.
30,000 fans on their feet as Verline gets back into the lead. Had pole position, held the lead at the start. How quickly will Lotterer follow through? Down into turn 3, Lotterer sends it to Porsche 1-2.
Oh, here comes Freins to the inside of Mortara. On the dirty part of the track, Mortara locks up on the outside.
Freitz gets it done. And Mortara's trying to get back. Now he's trying to defend from De Costa, but there's nothing he can do. Championship leader slipping further and further back in the closing stages. Verne is past Freitz. No, Freitz is trying to get back past Verne. Well, they've swapped places a few times, but Verne is now ahead of Robin Freitz. There's a move now from Mortara, who's back ahead of Robin Freitz. It's all about when the leaders cross the line. They're coming around the final couple of corners now. I think we're going to get 2 more laps. 5, 4, 3,
they are.
2, 1. It's the 2 more laps. Evans, Roland, Bird in big trouble. Here comes Freitz on the attack from Mortara. Mortara pushes him right to the wall. Freitz is never getting that stopped. Wow, he has. That's absurd. Evans is getting involved in this fight too. Evans could be up into 5th place by the end of this race, but he hasn't got any energy left. Look, 2%. Evans, Roland, Bird, half the energy of those up in front. They've miscalculated, and they're going to not score any points. It's a historic day for Porsche as they take their first Formula E win. Will 1-2 in Mexico. Verline wins, Lotterer second. The Porsches were 9 seconds clear in the end of Jean-Eric Verne in third, De Costa fourth. This is how the championship looks. Verline launches himself up into third place in the standings.
Thank you there to Jack Nicholas for your commentary on the Formula E race in Mexico City there. Just looking at the championship standings in a minute. But yes, Oliver Rowland, Sam Bird and Mitch Evans all don't score points because they overused energy. So they got demoted out the points for that and got penalised. Next Formula E race is the 9th and 10th of April in Rome. But the championship standings reads as the following now, which sees Eduardo Mortara leading at the top to 43 points. Nick De Vries is second on 38. Pascal Wehrlein and Andre Lotterer both vault themselves up the championship standings to 3rd and 4th respectively, tied on 30 points. Stoffel Van Dorn 5th on 28. Jean-Eric Verne up to 6th on 27. Jake Dennis is 7th. Lucas de Grassi 8th. Robin Freins 9th. And Antonio Felix da Costa is on the final position of the top 10 there. So that is Formula E for you now. Now Formula 1, I just want to quickly address some news. in the sport, because there has been lots of news in Formula 1 today. Obviously, the launch of Ferrari's new car, the SF15, as well. The SF15, the car Ferrari will be using this season in Formula 1. But the big news today is the official change of race director. Michael Massey has been sacked as race director of Formula 1. This news will become as a surprise to... Well, it wouldn't be a surprise to many people. Surprise to some people. But Michael Massey has been fired by Formula 1. It's been announced today. I know a lot of people are not happy about Michael Massey causing last year's controversial decider in Abu Dhabi. Title decided between Max Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton, which the Dutchman ended up claiming his maiden title in. Controversial circumstances, let's just say that. But yes, all I can say is that Michael Massey is fired from his role. He will be no longer the race director. It has been announced that Eduardo Freitas and Niels Wittig will become new joint race directors for Formula 1 as well. So Formula 1 certainly has changed its management up. Michael Massey is sacked after the controversy. And Formula 1 fans have certainly defied justice for Lewis Hamilton after Michael Massey's departure as well. Ferrari's F175 car certainly looked very interesting as well. But yes, all I can say is that Michael Massey is no longer the race director of Formula 1. So yeah, car launches for F1 will still continue. Mercedes launched their car this week. Pre-season testing begins very soon as well. The new season kicks off on the 18th to 20th of March in Bahrain. So yes, that's all I can say. We're getting ever closer to the start of the F1 season, and tensions are certainly going to run high with the new 2022 cars. Thank you so much for watching, everyone, this week's edition of The Grid. We'll see you again next week for another video and another episode of this new Motorsport Podcast. Take care, goodbye.